Great. Thank you so much. It is really a privilege to join the Cyberport in this very exciting and meaningful initiative about promoting the POC adoption. Now, today we have amazing speakers, and I would like to perhaps invite our speakers to quickly introduce themselves so that the audience will get a better appreciation about the different background and expertise. So maybe I can start with a gentleman on the right, William.
Hello, everyone. I'm William Yeung, CEO of MediConCen. I am an actuary.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Desmond Leung from American Express Global Merchant Services for Greater China.
Hi, good morning. This is Kim Mack from Points Exchange. I'm the CEO and co-founder.
大家好，我是来自中国人寿香港分公司的刘奎，是香港分公司的副总经理兼金融科技中心的副总经理。谢谢大家。
Okay. Now, perhaps I think a good way to start about this amazing GBA topic is to look at it from the business opportunities, market sizing perspective. So how big is the market? Where are opportunities? This can't be to be on the minds of many of you who are looking to get into GBA. So perhaps I would like to invite Desmond to share your view about your observation of the opportunities on the ground in GBA with the audience. Desmond, please.
Thank you, King. Good morning, everyone. So first of all, let me give some context about American Express presence and footprint in China. First of all, in August last year, we got the first level license in China and the only level license for foreign companies in China. And since then, we have been working with over 18 banks in China to issue cards, and over 21 banks and acquiring organizations to acquire merchants in China for our RMB transactions. And this is exciting news for American Express because we know that our customer want to use our service in China, and we know that getting a license in China is very challenging and difficult, and finally we get it. And moving on to Greater Bay Area, since it's so close to Hong Kong, and we have a very mature issuing and acquiring business in Hong Kong, our customer want to use our service in Greater Bay Area, and also we want to welcome our Greater Bay customers when our banks issue cards in China to come to Hong Kong. So it is a mutual process. When we look at this opportunity, we see a lot of facilitation that some of the fintech company today, like Points Exchange, can help us. Last but not the least, I think we also have enabled different partners like the QR, the mobile wallets, to be able to use our cards as funding source in China, so that we embrace all forms of payment means, all forms of partners to get into this ecosystem to expand our business opportunities in Greater Bay areas. Thank you.
Thank you, Desmond. Now, perhaps that's a very good perspective from an international firm looking into GBA. So perhaps I'd like to sort of change gear to pick on the brains of Mr. Lau. So Liu 总，当然就是中国人寿是一个大巨头，在这个保险行业。我想听听你的意见，在保险这个领域当中，你发现在那个大湾区的机遇，你的看法是什么？
好的。那么特别高兴能够来参加大湾区的这样的一个主题。那么这样的一个主题讨论的话呢，其实非常有意义。因为呢，其实我们在讨论大湾区的时候，其实呢，其实有3个关键词，一个是这个大湾区，第二个呢，实际上呢，它的背后还有个更大的背景，叫融入大循环的过程。那么在这个大湾区和大循环的这个里面的话呢，实际上给各行各业都带来了非常大的一个机遇。那么在这样一个大背景之下的话，我们可以知道说，无论是这个人才还是资金还是这个信息技术等等，那么各项的生产要素，应该说在整个大湾区内，甚至从香港和这个境内，都是会有一个非常快速的一个流动。那么对于保险业来讲的话呢，其实它的机遇是非常大的，因为人才的流动需要保险的保障。那么为了使得这个保险业界能够在大湾区或者是融入大循环过程当中能够把握好大机遇，实际上很重要的一点呢，实际上对保险业来讲，其实就是用数字化的方式来去重塑整个业界的这个价值链，通过这个 来破解我们现有的这个各个方面的一些问题。首先来讲呢，我想讲一下这个重塑价值链的问题。那么其实对于中国人寿来讲的话，实际上这几年呢一直也在推动这样相关的一些事情。第一个的话呢，就要在内部的流程上，要从端到端的思维去重新的去思考我们原有的流程，来去为客户创造更多的价值。那么这个从内部来讲的话，这些流程的话，一定要从加速我们整个端到端流程里边，从客户的需求的提出一直到他满足这个过程当中的整个流程，一定要以最快最短的速度去完成。第二个的话呢，就是除了内部流程的优化和变革之外，还需要积极的去整合外部的一些价值链进来。其实这就是说这几年以来，我们一直在跟一些初创企业的在一些合作，比如说像医结，我们跟医结合作，来去为我们的客户。来去延展我们的整个保险的价值链，来去为我们的客户提供这个比较好的一些医疗的一些服务。同时呢，我们也是会跟业界，比如说像保联，去合作，来去打使得我们这种遥距投保、反欺诈管理等等这些方面的能力的进一步的提升。所以的话呢，在这里边的话，价值链的这个重塑是非常重要的。而在这个过程当中，数字化转型。其实是使得这个价值链更加的能够为企业、为客户创造价值的过程，这个过程能够更加顺畅。所以的话，在这个数字化转型里边的话，我们现在积极的在推动整个全流程的叫电子化、全流程的数据化、可视化、智能化和自动化这样的一系列的一些过程。这就是我们一直都在致力打造的这样的一些工作。
谢谢刘总。Actually, Mr. Lau just now shared a lot of great wisdom. So perhaps I'll just summarize a few key points. Specifically, I think when Mr. Lau was commenting on the GBA, he was really putting it up to a more macro level, in line with the overall strategy of the Chinese government. And that is called the 内循环. That's internal circulation, if you will. So essentially, it's about getting the resources more evenly used and increasing the circulation and velocity of the activities. Now, how can we apply that high-level concept to fintech into China? And that's essentially about the data transformation. And that's the second point that Mr. Lau mentioned. And that's about using data as a linchpin to connect the different parts of value chain. And as we have more people moving around, that create opportunities, but to harness those opportunities require the data and the digital transformation to go after those opportunities. So thank you, Mr. Lau. Now, so I guess when we talk about the overall overarching strategy, the market sizing, that's great. But I think some of you might wonder, well, are there any successful cases that are already in place, right? In 普通话 is 落地, right? So perhaps I think I would like to invite Kim to share a few thoughts, because I know that you guys have already got some great partnerships in GBA. So can you share the audience about what you're doing and how can you really go after the GBA opportunities as you see it?
Okay, thank you, King. Good morning, everyone. This is Kim from Points Exchange. So talking about our business, so as you may know, there's a lot of people in Hong Kong, they already have a lot of loyalty programs. So Points Exchange is doing loyalty business, but we are not doing a loyalty program. Is that we are doing a loyalty, open loop loyalty platform. So give you a quick example. So when you go to Causeway Bay in a shopping mall like Times Square and go to a department store like Leung, and then go inside, there's a cosmetics department company, and then you use your credit card to buy something. That the four parties, they will all give you the loyalty points, but currently they are not synced together. So if you want to expand to get the value of them, so you have to spend them a lot of times, and then you can get the value, and then you can use them. So in other words, they are not synced together. So this is the problem that currently a lot of customers or merchants facing. So what we are doing is we are the platform to connect different kinds of parties together. Once you get the points, become a value, and then you can convert back to different kind of things, like you can go to food and dining, you can use to get a taxi, or maybe you can enjoy different kind of insurance product service. That's something that you can do. So when we expand this to GBA, that will be a bit more bigger again. So first of all, I'd like to thank Cyberport and the POC scheme, as well as our POC financial institute partner, UnionPay International. They help us to endorse our program and help us to speed up our project in GBA, talking about 2 to 3 years faster than as we expected. So what we're doing is when we look at GBA, we all believe that later on, all the people they will travel around not only Hong Kong, Macau, but also different cities in across GBA. So think about you spend in Macau, you spend in Hong Kong, or you spend in other cities, you will earn different kind of loyalty points together. So with our platform, you can connect different kind of loyalty points together, and then when you travel to Hong Kong, you can convert these points to a value and then spend in Hong Kong. And then when you go to Macau, you can also consolidate different kind of points together and spend in Macau, or even other GBA cities. This is the concept that we want to achieve and we want to do. So this is very straightforward, a platform to do this. So I want to echo with what Desmond just said is we help them. We can help them to look after those card members from different GBA cities when they go to Hong Kong. They will also leverage the benefits they earn from their original cities, and then they can spend it on different kind of cities across GBA.
Yeah. Thank you, Kim. Now, perhaps I think for the fintech companies looking to get the GBA opportunities, now one of the major hurdles is about getting a sponsor, getting clients in the financial institutions. Now, which is in and of itself is not easy. Now, perhaps, I think, William, I would like to invite you to say a few words, because you are considered a pioneer in InsurTech in Hong Kong, using blockchain to help automate and streamline the claim process and more. But then it must not be easy, right? You have to be going to talk to a lot of major FIs and insurance companies. Can you share with the audience about how you've done it and the lessons learned?
Hello, everyone. So it's my pleasure to share in this session. Actually, looking at the industry, Hong Kong has the greatest financial institution in the world. Actually, a lot of the regional center in Hong Kong. So you are not lacking of opportunity to market the solution, the new technology to those players. But the difficulty is really how can you win the trust of those big organizations, and how do you do partnership, and how to find win-win for the solution. Actually, I think our secret recipe is really to think from the partner's perspective. It's often the case that you need to understand the situation of your partners, and also you need to research very deeply into the problems, which is typically not in the domain knowledge of the startups. So it's actually very important to understand your customer and think about some solution that really solve the right problems. And we are very glad to know a lot of innovative insurance company like China Life and all of our insurer partners. They really listen to you, but then the difficulty is really to get their buy-in, because the first thing you need to get it right, the problems has to be right. Otherwise, you are solving something that doesn't exist. And then your solution needs to be correct in the sense that it tackle the problems that the financial institution have. And you need to deliver it on a good way so that they would really see the opportunity to working with a small company like a startup. But finally, it's really talking about the trust. And how can you win the trust from those big organizations? It's really you need to leverage on different review and different programs. And the POC program is one of the best in Hong Kong. I think it's one of the greatest innovation in Hong Kong since a lot of years. By having a scheme that basically provide a initial funding to do a proof of concept, and also having the government or Cyberport to to help review the cases. Because as a matter of fact, if you can get the funding, that means actually it would not be violating any regulation, and it is kind of financially viable in certain sense. And that would give more confidence to large organizations like the banks and the insurance company that this is not something that is fully untested. And for the trust, I think it's something that we are very cautious on. So when we build something that is on new technology, we make sure that it still have all the reviews and the check and balances that is required for all financial institutions to use. For example, whether you put personal information on the blockchain, although it is fully encrypted, unbreakable without quantum computer, but it's still there is a certain risk, right? Unless your audience can 100% understand the technology, they would not be able to personally verify the technology is sound. So we need to rely on other parties like Big Four audit, or simply by not having the most aggressive approach in the launch of doing everything on the blockchain. We do something on blockchain, but something off the blockchain to make sure that it have a stepwise adoption. So it's I think because I'm coming from insurance industry, I know actually how it works in the internal departments and how they also need to get buy-in. So you need to assist that. So I think there's some sharing I can have for fellow startups. And I think startup and large corporation are the two key pillars to implement something that have the benefit to the society at scale. Because with ideas, you can do nothing without the scale of the large corporation. But large corporations, they are in need of new ideas, and someone who are dedicated to create the ideas and execute it. And I think that is a good mix between the two.
Great. Thank you so much, William. Very practical and actionable insights for the startups. Now that we have heard from the solution provider perspective, I'd like to also 请教刘总啊。那因为就是刚才William 有说过做初创的最重要有个好点子有个好的一些概念。但是我在想啊，因为中国人寿是那么大的一个科技巨头，一个保险巨头，你们内部肯定是什么资源也有啊。所以其实我想请教一下，就是你们对于跟一个初创企业合作是怎么的看法呢？
好的，是这样的。关于跟初创企业的合作，我们的观点是这样的，就是说对于一个企业来说，最重要的是什么？其实就是这个为企业和为客户创造价值，这个就是我们最重要的一个目的。那么在这个创造价值的这整个过程当中，我们有一句话叫众人拾柴火焰高。实际上呢，就是说一个资源，哪怕是资源再多的企业，实际上也是需要社会各界来共同来这个为我们的客户来创造价值的。所以在这个过程当中，实际上我们是需要大量的，其实非常多的这个外部合作企业，因为即便是在保险这个过程，这个过程这个服务的过程当中，我们会发现，从前端的接触客户到后端的服务，我每一个环节每一个过程，实际上我仍然需要有大量的这个外部支撑的，并不是说完全的所有的我全部自己搞定，这个是这个情况是这样的。那么，所以在这个过程当中的话，我们实际上我们在过去的一段时间里面，实际上我们已经跟大量的一些企业在合作了，包括从系统的开发到互联网前端的设计，以及我们这个包括为客户提供这个医疗服务，我们现在正在推的1+医疗服务，其实本身就已经包含了像医结这样的这个初创企业，以及还有其他的一些医疗服务供应商，其实都是有大量的供应商来这个参与进来的。所以的话呢，对于我们来说，只要是能够为客户、为公司创造价值的，我们可以说是海纳百川，这个都是可以接受的，都是可以纳入考虑的。
谢谢刘总。Actually, what Mr. Lau just shared is great news for the insurtech fintech companies. So basically, as large as China Life, which is the largest insurance company on the planet, even as resourceful as they are, they're also looking for other external resources. Because at the end of the day, it's about creating value for the customers. So long the fintech insurance company can offer something that can add to the value creation by China Life, then I think Mr. Lau and his team is open to work with the startup. So this is great news for the insurtech. Now, so I guess maybe we just quickly move on as we are warming up. So I guess the next question I have is to break on that Desmond's brain. Again, the Amex has been around for so long. In fact, I think you guys are on the long-term buying list of Warren Buffett. So you must be very good to be on that list. Now,
Thank you.
So you guys have seen it all around the world. So as you are looking at I think what you have in terms of your experience internationally. So how can you leverage your sort of experience internationally to go into GBA to offer value to local customers?
Sure. Thank you, King. First of all, King, you're absolutely right? American Express is a 171 years old company. And I also want to echo what William just said now, right? Trust is very important when it comes to payment. And American Express has a vision to become the world's most respected service brand. And our relationship with our customers, merchants, and corporate small business is built on trust, security. And we want to give them the sense of security so that they can rely on our service. We provide our best service to them day in and day out. Thinking about this, right? When we have the level license in China, and more importantly in the neighboring area, in Greater Bay Area, our customers' voice is they want to use our service in China, in Greater Bay Area. But when they enter into Greater Bay Area, they want to have someone who partner with, they can trust, they can rely on. That's why American Express play an important role to help them to find the right service and also find the right partner. Startup and fintechs like Points Exchange, they can provide a lot of flexible solutions to global organizations like us. And for American Express, we deal with the customer relationship. We help them to solicit the best deal, the best service provider. And Points Exchange, for example, they can provide very agile solution to us. They're very open to feedback, and they can adjust their solutions very quickly. And we combine and marry the best of the two together. And we can help ourselves as a global organization to shortcut some of the procedures that we sometimes find it a little bit lengthy. As a bank holding company, we have to be very responsible for our shareholders, like Warren Buffett, and also to be very respectful to our regulators. But we don't want to lose sight about our company's name, being Express. So we want to speed up the time to market. We want to find the best solution. That's why this kind of collaboration will really help us. And speaking about capability, we have some good references in other countries. For example, in the US, we partner with a company called Resi. They are very similar to the OpenRice in Hong Kong. They help our customers to book restaurants. They find recommendations. We also provide CRM solutions to our merchants together with Resi in order to utilize their unutilized capacities to maximize their revenue. And then earlier this year, we launched a program called Order In, Help Out, right, as part of the program to help the recovery of the restaurant industries in the United States as part of our global Shop Small campaign. And closer to Asia, we also have a partner with a company called Pocket Concierge in Japan to help our card member to access to high-end restaurants in order to get the best deal. So these are a few examples that we always find ourselves in a position to help our customers to elevate their experience, but without sacrificing the quality. And a company like the fintechs can definitely help us to increase more of this speed to market competency. And speaking about our China network as well, we obviously want to welcome our customers from GBA to Hong Kong to benefit the business in Hong Kong and to help our card members to reach out to GBA area to utilize their service. So it is a mutual process. We see the Greater Bay Area opportunity as mutual rather than we go out to Greater Bay only, but we also welcome the customers the revenue, the spending to Hong Kong to boost the economies in Hong Kong. To us, that's very important. Thank you.
Yeah, I think this is such a great news for fintech companies to have open-minded anchor like American Express that have so many use cases to bring to the table. Now, so perhaps we also hear from the trans perspective. 是刘总要想请教一下因为其实你们在国内也有蛮多的一个金融科技的供应商这根据你的经验，在内地供应商跟香港的供应商，其实你发现在香港的金融科技保险科技企业，他们有什么特点？是能够有一些新的价值，是你们在内地的供应商是不能够提供到你们的，可以跟大家分享一下吗？
其实我知道，可能香港的很多 FinTech 企业可能都会有这样的一种担心吧，就说，内地的也有很多 FinTech 企业，他们成本比我们低，是吧？人也比我们多，我们能不能竞争过他们？那么其实业界呢，其实之前呢，应该说都做过很多，这个就是包括互联网的一些这个系统的开发。实际上呢，我们也曾经做过，就是说，把一个 App 全部都交给内地的一个FinTech 公司去做。实际上后来我们会发现呢，做了之后呢，并不是特别理想。那么后来其实我们也在重新的去反思这些问题。那么我们会发现，香港的 FinTech 其实还是有自己的独特的竞争优势的。它竞争优势体现在哪里呢？我觉得主要是这么几点哈。第一个呢，就是用户体验，因为我们的比如说我们作为保险业来讲，我要给客户提供这个 App 平台，那好了，我的用户其实就是香港的用户、澳门的用户、新加坡的用户，或者是还有一些国外的一些用户。那好了，那它的用户体验的这个设计层面上的话，我相信香港的这个 FinTech 企业，它有更加独特的优势，因为它更加理解这个有一个本地化的一个文化的问题。那包括里面的一些这个落地到里面非常具体的一些文字的表达、画面的设计以及图标。这些的整个流程的这个顺畅性，这个是我相信是内地很多 FinTech 企业它不一定能完全做到这一点的，这是第一个。第二个的这个优势点就是对法规，因为几个地方的法规其实是不一样的。那么我们的 FinTech 企业的话呢，其实更加熟悉香港的 FinTech 企业可能更加熟悉我们香港、澳门、新加坡等等这些地方的一些这个法律法规，然后这样的话呢，使得我们整个运作的过程当中呢会更加顺畅一点。所以的话呢，从这几个方面来看的话，其实当然还有很多其他的一些优势。所以我在想呢，香港的 FinTech 企业在去推动自己的工作这个过程当中，一定要去思考我的优势点在哪里。你不要跟大陆去比成本了，对吧？但你一定要跟他比的是什么呢？你的用户体验、你的法规遵循、你的还有其他的一些更好的一些商业模式，跟这样的话呢，实际上我相信能够创造出自己独特的竞争优势的。我相信在这个世界是多样的，也很难完全说谁能完全替代谁的问题。
好，谢谢刘总。Actually, Mr. Lau just shared another good news for the fintech companies in Hong Kong. That's basically when what Mr. Lau just said is that there are great opportunities for the local fintech and insurtech too, around 3 dimensions. Now, the first dimension is, first of all, is about the local user experience. So obviously, each market, the user experience is different. So even though I think a lot of the mainland Chinese tech providers of China Life, they arguably have better cost structure, massive amount of resources, but then they may not understand the local market landscape and the user behavior. As a result, for the Hong Kong fintech, they can really do a good job in offering better user experience for China Life. This is something that China Life would take on seriously. Now, the second thing that is also important is the understanding about the regulation, because obviously different jurisdictions have different regulation, so it's quite localized. So this is if this is one area you can highlight your strength, do it, but this is important. And last but not least is about the different business models. Because obviously today we are living in this world that's constantly changing. So who to say there's no new revenue model in insurance that even I think some of the big players have not thought about. If you can have that kind of innovation, it's something that I think that Mr. Lau and his team would also be interested to take a look at. So again, thanks for advice. Now so it seems to talk about quite a lot of the sort of business aspect, the macro aspect. Since fintech, there's another component of tech. So perhaps we'd like to drill down a bit deeper to talk about the technology aspect of the GBA. Now, so maybe we can start with Kim. Now, so when we look at your business, so I think can you talk a little bit about, because I know you have a plan to use blockchain. So can you talk a little bit about that plan and how that can work with the sort of GBA development? Because obviously blockchain is a big thing in China too.
Sure, thanks, King. So for us, yes, we do have plan to using blockchain Hyperledger. So why is that? Because it's the main reason behind is as we know in China, when we touch base with a lot of core FI that they have their loyalty programs, most of them they start to using blockchain or they already using blockchain. The good things for using Hyperledger is the first thing is if you take a look on the regulation and the direction from the China government. The first thing is the good things for Hyperledger is they don't have a token inside. That means that we are not a cryptocurrency, which is aligned with the government directions. So second thing is think about if we are just using API within across the GBA. Even though I tell you that my tag is 99% safe, but somehow it will also the customer experience will also impact by the other parties' API. So blockchain smart contract is the good thing is one they standardize everything to make that very easy and then much more stable. And in terms of if we align with those customers, merchants as well as the government, that is all auditable, it's transparent and traceable. This is very important. Think about that we are working with more than around 13 cities in GBA. It's somehow if you are doing some traditional tech, you may lose the points. Your loyalty points, that may trigger a lot of complaints or issues. But blockchain is a good way that even though they're not stable, all the transaction is all locked in the smart contract. So this is something I think is very important. If our next step is move to GBA, this is the trend and this is the good things that we can enhance the customer experience for our customers, partners, as well as align with the government regulations. So in short, with the blockchain, I think something that we want to achieve for those different parties, like for the customer, will provide a more stable and more protection for them to avoid any complaints for losing their points. And for merchants, I think, or loyalty points partners, that we want to build a platform that for them is more easy to connect with different kind of partners for them to make it more easier. And for government, this is I think this is a tool that they can easy to audit and easy and more clean for them to know all the transaction flow from there. So for us, blockchain is very important for us at this point.
That's great. Now, I guess I would like to ask a question to William too, since I know your entire business is built on blockchain. But I'd like to twist the question a bit. Now, in China and in GBA, people are talking about this, sort of extended livelihood, right? It's not just for Hong Kong. Perhaps people from Hong Kong will retire in a GBA city. Now, but if that takes place, then people think, well, okay, so if I do buy insurance in Hong Kong, can I claim or can I go to the hospital or clinic in which I'm still covered, right? So this talks about the cross-border sort of data transfer type of issue. Now, so in China, I noticed there's a major initiative called BSN, the Blockchain Service Network. It's intended to essentially connect all the different currently proprietary chains to make them interoperable. Now, so I know this is a loaded question, but I'd like to really pick on your brain, William. So because insurance is such an important industry, particularly in GBA, the data, cross-border sharing of data is so important. And it sounds like something like BSN can be helpful. So I'd like to hear a view about what's your take.
And thank you for the questions. Talking about blockchain, I think we should look at the essence of blockchain. Actually, blockchain is a very innovative technology that that changed the way that people record transactions. Before taking the insurance as an example, the system will be hosted by a single party, typically either the insurance company or the medical organization. But then they always have problems when the two parties, when they do transaction, they need to rely on, they cannot rely on the system record of the other party because we are big and they are big and the amount is so big. Therefore, typically you will need to do what we call reconciliation before you can really do any transaction. For example, I need to check your record. You send me the bill. I check my system to confirm that whether, both of us agree that the amount to settle is really 100 million, and then I pay you 100 million. And that's the traditional way of doing business. And as a matter of fact, a lot of process, technology already can automate. For most of the insurance process, actually there exists a way to automate it. But at the end of the day, after you automate all the things, the doctors use system record, the medical record in their server. But at the end of the day, this paper is still needed because there is something that is outside the system to ensure that your system record is correct. Sometimes you still need the paper to show that, the transaction did happen. So whenever two sides have a dispute, you still have a paper to rely on, that kind of thing. So blockchain is something that is fundamentally changing the way that people record the transaction. Now you don't need to look at any single party as the single source of truth. Everyone would have a say in the system, ensuring that without your consent in digital form, no one can change the data and the logic inside. With that fundamental way of storing data, actually everyone can now rely on that single source of truth in doing transaction. So it's only a matter of business cooperation to really connect the blockchain system to many, many aspects. For example, you can connect it to medical provider, you can connect it to government record, you can connect it to certain KYC kind of a source to ensure that the money is clean, that kind of thing. So it allows multiple parties to cooperate in a single system without losing the trust in between. So I think that is something that why the BSN, the blockchain service network, is so powerful. Because if one day you can connect all the system in silo and everyone can trust that system, then it would become so powerful that it can do a lot of things automatically without involvement of human. And with the introduction of the digital currency, maybe one day even the insurance company can operate fully online because you know where the money comes from, you know whether they have adequate solvency, you can invest in it if you have money because you see the full balance sheet, you see how much business they have. So it underlies a lot of it unlocks a lot of area that multiple organizations can work together, but still having full automation, which is not allowed in the past. So I think that is a very powerful technology, and that would have more and more usage in future.
And I think this is a good tool to make us to have the trust with different partners because it's all auditable and very transparent.
Yeah. Well, I think this is a great exchange. So time flies when we're having fun. Perhaps I would like to just quickly, in a way, kind of summarize some of the thoughts that not only on this panel, but also the overall observations. Now, at the end of the day, when we talk about the previous panel before us, among the regulators, so the people like Nelson Chow from HMA or Tony from Insurance Authority, they have been the pioneers at the regulators to try to promote fintech adoption almost in day one, so like 2015, 16, and so on. So we recently had a conversation about, by the way, now that we have seen the evolution over the past 5-6 years, what do you think? Now, at the end of the day, we have made a lot of progress in Hong Kong. So back in 2016, when a lot of the ideas around fintech were still on the drawing board, right? It's still a vision, a few PowerPoint slides. But then, of course, as the regulators laid out the roadmap, then I think more companies coming in. The major institutions like the American Express, the China Life, and the others are now accepting these fintechs to start working with them. And now that we have this great program of POC, the Proof of Concept Subsidy Scheme, championed by FSTB, the Financial Services and Treasury Bureau, the Policy Bureau, and Financial Services sector. So this is really like the final piece, right, to push up to the next level, and that is adoption. So now that we have this sort of, it's almost like to William's point, is the official vetting and endorsement of certain fintechs. So now that I think the whole sector is getting more confident about trying out new things. And then with the great leaders like what we have today, with being open-minded, try new things, we can see like great momentum going forward. So with that, I just want to thank you to our great speakers, Leung, Kim, Desmond, and William, for sharing the great wisdom with us. And I hope that the audience can take away some useful insights from our great esteemed speakers today. So thank you so much. Thank you.